Hello and welcome to Timberborn 1.0 full release. We're going to start a brand new series here and check out a bunch of the fun new stuff in video form, not just live streams like we did earlier yesterday as of the posting of this video. But we're going to go ahead and get started with Folktails here, and I'm going to play on a custom map that I found on the workshop that I thought was interesting. It's called Down the Plug Hole, and the basic gist of this one, you can go and read the whole thing on the workshop if you want. But there's some hidden stuff that is going to cause some problems at some point in the playthrough, and before that happens, we have an opportunity to try and prevent it, and we also have a very nice looking area in the middle to build in. So let's go ahead and get started on normal mode, and I will see you on the other side of the loading screen. Alright, you know the drill. This is the 33rd series, which means we have to name our settlement Beaverburg 33, in Roman numerals, of course. So there's a couple things we need to talk about with this map, so let's hit pause. And not just with 1.0, but just in general, this is a really cool looking map. It's basically two spirals, and you're in the middle of a kind of a fishbowl type thing, although it's very flat. You wouldn't really see it at first glance. And right over here, we have what I presume is supposed to be the remnants of an ancient human dam. And there's a bunch of science right here. We've got the big satellite dish relics, we've got the little telescope thing relics, and we've got these that look a little bit like crashed satellites. So, if we examine the map with our layer tool, which I always like to do when I start a new one, we'll go all the way down to 0. You see that underneath the middle of these spiral things here, there's an exit on this side, and there's an exit on this side. And you can see all the markings for all the features that are going to be up further up on the map as we continue going up. You can see it does fall down a pretty decent distance, and then we start getting to the very bottom of the middle here. So this is the lowest point on the map, for the record. That'll be important later. But you can see that the level here for this drain that just basically goes straight down is... it's not on the same side of the map, but it's basically the same as the very bottom of this area, which is the underneath of the dam. And we have bad tide drains here, which is a feature new for 1.0. And as we continue going up, you see this? This is the bottom of an unstable core. There are two of them. They make a horrifying noise, and these are very large. Radius of 4. So, at some time... unknown to me, known only to the inner machinations of the map here, these will detonate, rupture the dam, and ostensibly release some sort of absolutely horrendous torrent of bad water into the center of the map, aka the plug hole, which is our settlement. So, we've got our work cut out for us, and that's going to be interesting. We also have some reserve stuff here. We got a reserve warehouse full of berries. Got a reserve tank full of water. There's more of these around the map, just scattered in various places. There's a pretty generous amount of geothermal fields as well, which that's another thing new for 1.0. We have a power source that we can tap with the geothermal engine. Permanent power. Kind of, well, it's both factions can use it, but I liked it when it first came out because it gave the Folktails access to some consistent, reliable power like the Iron Teeth with the engines. Outside of that, I think that covers most of what we need to know about the map, minus just a little bit of time to appreciate the artistry in creating this. And I think we're going to be able to build some cool stuff. But there's another reason why I decided to do this map. And that is that there is a, well, it's not an official thing, but one of the team at Mechanistry actually made a mod that allows you to use river rafts for logistics. I'm not going to install it yet. I want to let the new update settle before I install any mods. But I'm really excited to see how that works, because I think we got these rivers flowing into the center of the map. If we have outposts or something that are making supplies or whatever, if you stick something on a raft and you just send it on down here, that's some pretty efficient transport, huh? I thought it was a cool idea. So anyway, now we are on Cycle 1, Day 1, and we have 9 adults, 4 kits, and we've got a field of berry bushes. We've got some oak trees right here. This is a really, really generous start. Some people might consider this to be overkill. But remember, we've got 2 apocalypse bombs over here. So maybe we should try to get over here and divert this or something. We'll see what happens. But I digress. Let's go ahead and set up shop. First thing you want to do, basically any playthrough, is get started cutting down trees. So I'm going to put in 2 lumberjack flags right here. We do have to remember to mark the trees for cutting, as one always does. That's going to reach all the way back to, looks like here. So we'll do that. That's a blueberry bush. Nice. We're going to let them get started cutting those oak trees down. That is going to be a great early game asset for us here, like I said. And we do have the blueberries here, but we have thorns, and these take a very long time to get cleaned up and, of course, have a high chance of injury. So we may not mess with this for a little bit. They are cutting down those oak trees, and we need to get started on establishing farming and getting water set up. So we do have water pumps that we can stick in. I would prefer most of the time to have these go straight down the full 2 blocks, which is the, I guess now the game calls it meters. That's our official distance. But there's not really anywhere right here where I can get away with that except this one spot. And until we get other stuff, that's probably the best we're going to be able to do. Maybe it doesn't matter because this is just, you know, a hole and it all flows out the bottom of the map. So we probably don't need to worry about it. And for that reason, I will just stick in, I guess, right at the edge of this. Yeah, that should be good. We'll go ahead and commit to putting in 2 water pumps. We will, of course, need to build more as time goes by. But for now, I will take it. I think that is probably going to be just fine. Now, we are playing on normal mode, so maximum drought, bad tide is 9 days. And it's not going to be too terribly difficult because we're going to have some pretty long temperate cycles. But the main deal with this map is, when is this going to blow? And what do we do to well, I don't think you can really prevent it, but what do you do to mitigate the damage as much as possible? Also, there's a tunnel here full of thorns and, of course, blockages. If we have, I guess, a shortcut death wish, we could send some beavers through here to come and harvest all of this fun stuff. But that's not for right now, because this is episode 1, and it's going to be a while before we get to any of that. So it looks like we made some very good progress here. I'm going to start, since we have so many logs being pulled out, let's just put in a couple of small tanks here. Get prepared, and let these guys do what they need to do. We can also get started with some piles. Not a bad idea to get some logs rolling in here. I guess literally rolling. But I don't think... No, there's not really a good place to stick this for right now. Unless I go ahead and move this path this way. Take this out, and then I'm going to... Just since we're already over here, I'm going to turn this into storage for logs. And we'll move right along with that. So again, since this is the normal mode, we don't have to worry about this temperate cycle ending before probably at least... What is it, day 12, day 13? I've been playing so much hard mode lately that I am expecting there to be issues on day 5 or 6. But thankfully, this is a normal mode. On a really potentially hard map, so I don't know, some of you might get a little irritated that I've done that, but that's okay. We just need to make sure these guys get off to a good start, and it should pretty much just run itself. I'm going to start getting a farmhouse assembled as well so we can begin growing some crops, because, you know, berries are great, but you have to eventually move on. And, of course, the very first thing the Folktails can do is grow carrots, and that is exactly what we'll start planting, but, you know, of course, they have to actually build this. So, these beavers are going to be pretty thirsty if they don't finish this water pump. Let's get them on triple speed and go through our first night here. They don't have anything, you know, anything to do except walk around because I haven't built them any houses yet. I don't know how selfish of me. But it's fine. Builds character. Now get back to work. Come down here and finish this water pump, and you guys can finally get some water to drink. And I believe this water pump should be next. Got a nice reserve of logs. They probably should build this sometime soon. In fact, actually, I think that is probably not the next thing, so I should, once this is complete, I'm going to turn this into the next priority. There we go. Just get that thing locked in, because now we can actually use all of these trees and not have to worry so much early game. We have a nice mixed forest over here, and then we have some trees up here we're not going to get to for a very, very long time. And while we do have some thorns here to keep us from walking this way, we also, as soon as we get stairs, can just put something here. So, keeps us away from the geothermal field super early in the game. Not that we can really, you know, do anything with it yet, because we have to research and we have to have planks and all that. But that's fine. We're already making some pretty good progress. We are going to want to get this farmhouse built sooner rather than later. So I will prioritize that. I should have built that first instead of these tanks here, but it's fine. It is what it is. Before things get too crazy, I am going to stick a gatherer flag right here so they can start taking these berries. So the berries can start regrowing, because, well, you have to take them off before they can grow new ones. And this is coming up on being done, so I think it would be a wise idea to start planting some other crops. Sunflowers can be eaten raw. I never really thought they were a great early game crop. They also have a lower density per tile. But potatoes, on the other hand, 6 days grow 1 potato. You stick it in a grill, you get 4 potatoes. So that's pretty good. Let's start growing some potatoes. Especially because these guys don't have anything else going on. I'll stick these here, and then we'll go on the other side of the path as well. What was that, 6? It's fine. We're not really going to need the berries after too long, but considering we only have 41 left, and these carrots are going to take another, you know, 3.75 days at minimum. Actually, more than that. We'll call it 4 days. Before we can do anything, we're going to be in a little bit of stuff. So, I'll just keep growing some more potatoes here, because, well, they take 6 days. And now those are all planted, so, you know, we don't really need anybody in the farmhouse right now, and we certainly don't need 3 beavers. So, I'm just going to... Did the game just crash? No, it did not. Okay, that was weird. Any rate, game lagged a little bit. I thought it crashed, but we're back. We're good. Nothing actually happened. So we're going to get these guys out of here and start the process of getting some other things accomplished. And I believe, depending on what else we might want to do, this is probably a good time to get some inventors going so that we can accrue science and eventually move on to research some stuff. Because there's a bunch of cool automation I want to get into. I don't think we can really do much, if any, in the first episode, but there's going to be some pretty neat stuff. And I'm actually going to learn how to do it. If you watch the other series, you might have seen some of that was kind of a mess. But we're going to get it figured out, because that's what we do. And we move on. I always like to have these adventures as minimum priority workplaces, so that should help take care of a bunch of stuff. Get some extra beavers in there. You know, eventually when we have the science, we can get an observatory which we do power, and then it makes a whole bunch of science a lot quicker. But that's probably going to be a little bit of time before we get there. So I want to find, maybe not right here, but I want to find a couple other places I can put an inventor hut. I guess this is okay. Just because I don't really have much else going on with these, I'm going to stick that in there, I'm going to stick that in there, going to do that. And we're going to get all these guys, you know, going in there, doing their science or whatever it is they do in there. Pumping water, these are full. We have enough, yeah, we have enough logs right now to justify doing some other stuff. So, by popular demand, we are going to press B, which is my favorite letter in the word duplicate. And we're going to put in some more tanks over here. And because we duplicated this is, again, a function of 1.0 if you've not played the new update. It's already set to water. We don't have to worry. It inherits the contents and the mode of whatever building you clone from. Can I do that on a pathway? I can. I almost never use the duplicate thing, and people like to give me a hard time about it, which it's all in good fun. But, you know, at some point I do have to adapt to the new stuff. So we're going to let them do that, do some more pumping, and think about what else we may end up being able to do. Obviously, we talked about automation very briefly. So for those of you who don't know, I guess I could give you a very quick overview since we're waiting for them to build some stuff. We have a lever here, or a lever, depending on which flavor of English you prefer, which is basically just a human input to a system. Everything is 1x1 tile. Well, most of them are. This is a relay, which you can use to make logic gates if you're familiar with computer programming, which I'm kind of not. So we're going to learn as we go. Flow sensors can detect flow in an area around, or I guess strictly speaking, below the arm, because that's what the thing says. That can be used to turn on or turn off buildings or shift power. There's all sorts of cool stuff you can do. This is basically infinite combinations. Depth sensor, exactly what the name implies. It senses depth. Contamination, senses contamination. Chronometer is kind of like a industrial clock type thing, where at a certain time it can send a signal. It either turns on or turns off at a certain time, and you can use that to have different buildings active at different times of day. You can have certain things shut off to conserve power overnight or what have you. Weather station. This thing's cool. It's got these anemometers on there, which, if you know what that word means, then you either did Science Olympiad in middle and high school, or you actually pay attention to the Weather Channel. People outside the United States are like, what in the world are you talking about? It's fine. Don't worry about it. Power meter. Measures power. Population counter. Is going to be useful, probably maybe a little bit more for Iron Teeth, from my understanding of it. But it can still help you meter different things around your settlement. Resource counter, same kind of deal. It just, instead of counting beavers, you're counting resources. But this is good for turning on or turning off production lines to maintain a specific level of stock. Science counter, maybe more useful for the Iron Teeth, because you're going to be consuming all the science for the towers for the bots, but eh. Indicators, it's a light. Speakers, just what the name implies, it plays sounds. People have given me some, I guess we could say, interesting ideas on what to do with that later. Fireworks launcher, this is cool. You can make fireworks, which, who doesn't love fireworks? Detonators, which you can use to arm dynamite and then automate the detonation of the dynamite based on any of these other factors. Timers, it's a timer. Memory, this is where we start getting into some crazy computer stuff. But it's basically computer memory. And then these last two, oh boy. HTTP levers and HTTP adapters. This is internet-based interface for your game world, which, it's something for live streams, not for this playthrough. But still really cool and honestly kind of terrifying. We'll see where that goes. So, just a brief overview of each of these things. I haven't used all of them yet, but I'm wanting to do as much as I can in this playthrough and then the live stream playthrough that I have going over in the Iron Teeth faction, well, in live stream mode. So, probably about halfway through the first bit of Cycle 1. We've got a pretty good spot, except now we don't have a lot of berries left, and these carrots are still at least a day and a half from, being edible. So fortunately, we do still have some berries coming up over here that are going to be usable, harvestable. We'll keep the beavers alive, maybe just barely, but I think we're going to be totally okay. And we have 90 science. We do still have a lot of trees available, so we probably don't need to rush a forester yet. But we probably should start getting into processing wood so that we can have stairs. So to do that, obviously, you go in the lumber mill. They have to power it, which with the Folktails, you can either send them on the power wheel, or you can put a water wheel down. And one of the cool new things they added, I believe it was for update 1.0, full 1.0 release. It is a mature game now, after all. It's going to give you a preview of how much power you can actually make. And this right here, 358, that's pretty good. 500. 536, no way. Oh, that's like cheating levels of power. Oh, no. We also... I guess we can get to this because we have the stairs there. Okay, well, normally I would not advocate putting your power this close to your water pumping and on arable land, but man, it is hard to say no to 500 something HP. Tell you what we'll do. If I put one here, then I can put another one here. If I put this, I'm going to put this all the way back in here. And what that's going to allow us to do is also put one here, and then I can have power shafts come here and then up. It is going to be something else having this much power in the early game. But don't worry. This isn't easy mode. Well, it's normal mode, first of all. But remember, we have a very pressing eventual problem over there that we probably won't know about until, what, 9 days before, I think, is the timer on the unstable cores. So, yeah, for now, let's just do this. Let's see what happens. We have regular power shafts, and we have the vertical power shaft. This is a new thing. This is a clutch, which allows us to, well, engage or disengage power transmission. And yes, this can be automated with the use of, I'd probably use a power meter, honestly. So if you have varying input or output, then you can turn on or turn off different aspects of your power grid in either way. So let's get, I've got the science, but I don't have, yeah, I'm going to have to wait for this. So this is actually, a mistake that I've made here. I know, right? That never happens. Because I can't go vertical until I have gears. So, oh, these beavers are hungry. Let's get these guys in here. These grew up. I hope it was overnight and I didn't miss that by half a day. You are free to roast me if I did. So, I know I just spent all that time talking about this is gonna be so awesome. It's gonna be great, and I can't use this until I can make a vertical power shaft. So, for that reason, I will be putting in a lumber mill here, and then I will be unlocking the gear workshop and putting it right next door. Don't worry, they can't build this yet because we don't have planks. But we're going to get there. We're going to do our best because that's what we always do. And well, this might seem dumb, but because of where we find ourselves with the power situation, until I can make one gear to make a vertical power shaft to go in this exact spot, we will have to have a power wheel, which goes right here, and that will have to connect into the side of... Not that! Oh, man. I have made a great many sins already in this playthrough. It's fine. If you haven't watched my videos before, I don't edit them. I don't take out when I make mistakes. I don't restart when something goes wrong. We just do it. So, if you're used to watching people who edit their videos down, well, I'm sorry, it's not going to be like their stuff. But I will always be open and honest about what happens in these. If I make a stupid mistake, I will own it. If otherwise, I'm just going to pause this because we can't even use it right now. If something goes great, cool. If something goes terrible, you're going to see it, and you're gonna not have to worry about whether or not that is what actually happened, because I always do this. So, we need to get some housing going. I think yeah, that's probably going to be a better thing to do than to wait. So, Folktails housing is a little bit easier to build than Iron Teeth because it's a little bit more compact and has the second floor entrance on these guys. So, of course, when you start out, you only have these regular lodges. So I think I'm going to go ahead and stick 2 of those here. Get that going around the corner there. Now, eventually we'll put stairs here, which, speaking of, let's unlock those before I forget. And that is what we'll do. Do we really need the stairs here? Probably not, but it's always a little bit more convenient to have easy vertical transport near where the beavers live instead of having to go all the way around. And we can also put other stairs in other places as we go further around the map. That's all fine. They're probably... Yeah, they're in the middle of building this, and we're on day 9. The first cycle drought is usually really short, so we don't need to worry about storing any more water for right now. Just need these guys to finish up what they're doing. We still have a lot of oak trees, although we have just about burned, well, we haven't literally burned through, but we've gone through most of the area these lumberjacks can reach. We'll move those at some point. And now I've got the lumber mill. I just have to finish the power wheel, and then somebody has to go run on it, and then we can make some planks. And then when we make the planks, we can make the stairs, and then when we have enough planks, we can clear this thing out, construct the gear workshop, and then rebuild it somewhere else, make a single gear, tear it down, come back down here, and put this in here. So did I have to put this right here? No. Objectively, there's probably a whole lot better stuff I could have done. But we've already done it, so we're going to move on. Oh, and now we got potatoes. So these beavers, unfortunately, cannot boil them, mash them, or stick them in a stew. They can only put them on a grill, which means they are going to need to have something to do here. I guess, for lack of, anything else, this is probably a decent spot for a grill. We do, of course, have to set the recipe for potatoes. And we don't need to make a storage at this exact moment. We're going to want to sometime soon. But the grill will store, I believe it's 120 potatoes in the output slot. And that's plenty. Plenty for early game. We're not going to have to worry about it. All right. So power wheel, we got somebody on there. We got somebody in the lumber mill. They are making planks. First 4 planks are probably going to go to these stairs unless I pause them. This will hold, what, 13? And the gear workshop requires 25. So you know what that means. It means we need to make a pile for planks. And seeing how this is set up, I don't have any great options. Actually, no, the piles. Yeah, piles for planks and then warehouses for gears. I'm going to stick right here just because, well, because I can. Piles for this. I should probably accelerate those two, just so we can keep this moving along, again, because it only holds 13. And then move on from there. I'm expecting probably in the next couple of days to get our first drought warning. Well-being score of 3 being the high score is, it's not great, but it's a whole lot better than 0, which is where we were. Look at all this power coming through here. This is cool. We're going to have a great time with that. Alright, so now we're up to 8 planks. Again, we're saving 25 for the gear workshop. Getting a nice early start on the industrialization bits here. I think these guys have just about cleared out. Yeah, so we're going to have to move. Or I could just leave this, honestly. I could just leave those there, and I can have them come down over here. Before things get too crazy, let's put in the path that's going to take us over here. And also keep the berries at bay a little bit. I'm going to say let's put these here. I do want to save some of these pines for when we need pine resin at some point, but I'm going to just get those guys going. Of course, we'll let them finish over here, but I think we can just leave the rest of it alone. Alright, I see 14. Do we have a drought warning? No, we do not. Okay, we're going to have a nice long time to take care of all of this. And we got grilled potatoes. How about that? Yep, it is 120, so that's looking okay. We don't want to wait too long before we build a warehouse for them. I think for now we're probably okay for a little bit longer. We are still accumulating science. Let's not forget that. I'm, in the interest of getting this taken care of, going to unlock the vertical power shaft. Stick that right here. Stick that right here. They will put everything else in there besides the gear that we obviously haven't made yet. And I think, yeah, as soon as I see this hit 25, I'm going to take this out, put the gear workshop in. And then I just need to make sure I have enough logs to get into here, and that should be okay. We have a deficit of 6 beavers, so let's pause those two. This also is not going to be too much of an issue as we continue going. That's got 20. It's got 20 logs, but we don't need a beaver working there. So let's pause both of these. They can pull those logs out. They'll stick them in the pile here, and then they'll bring some stuff over in this area. We've got 20 planks. We'll get some more logs in here. I need that to say 25. And then I think we're going to be okay. And of course, we do have to have additional beavers born only in the Folktails faction by having extra space in housing. So I'm going to do this and this. And I don't have enough science to get the double lodge yet, but we will probably want it soon. I have the option here to either put a lodge up, or we can do one of our first well-being things and try to finagle a rooftop terrace in here. But I think for that to fit with this inn, I would have to have a platform unlocked, which, you know, I technically could do. I don't think I want to mess with this exact moment. We have our 25 planks, by the way. I don't think there's anything else that's going to use those, so let me just make absolutely sure, because I've done this before where I thought everything was fine and then I ended up, well, not getting into trouble. It was just annoying. Let's take this out. Gear workshop and get that done. Obviously, it's not going to make any power if the stuff's not connected. There's the drought warning. Okay, so we got 3 days, so that'll be on end of day 16, start of day 17 is when we'll have our drought. It's probably only going to be a couple days and we'll be okay. Won't have to worry too much. I just want these guys to come in here and do this. How many builders do I have as beavers? Beavers do I have as builders? Only 2. Well, that's okay early game. Don't need to really worry about it. I just need them to build this. So we'll let them get to work. Yeah, see, this is all fine. All fine and dandy. Just need this to be done so I can pop this wheel back in place. This is going to have a power shaft right here. And then, since we're already on the topic, get that in. I know. I can hear some of you groaning now. It's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. We just need to have all of this accessible power wheel here. I do have enough logs. That is... yeah, that should be fine. Let's get somebody in here. And then, now this won't make enough to run both of these at once. At least not without a lot of underperformance. But it will allow us to do the most important thing, which is to make at least one gear, so I can come down over here and pop this in place. Now, I don't want to get rid of this until I have to. So what I'm going to end up doing, because I've already unlocked the stairs, is I'm just going to pop one right here. They'll build it, and then, actually, you know what? Let's pause this so that the mill can actually make planks quick. I'm going to make this, and then a beaver can come down here and it can put in the single gear that is required for this to go. And then once this thing's going, we're home free for at least a couple cycles in terms of power. Now, it's going to be a little weird how I end up having to move this stuff around, but it's going to be okay. Yes, I fully realize I could have just put the wheel over here and we would have been done already, but what's the point in doing something just because it's easy? Gotta have a spirit of excellence around you. Or at the very least, a mild case of insanity. So that says it's waiting on planks, which I don't know why it doesn't have them. It says it doesn't have... oh, no, that's the gear. I'm stupid. Alright, that's fine. Let's get the gear thing operating. It's going to be slow. And boy, is it going to be slow. But all we need is one gear. That's it. So watch that actually say I can't do this because the straw's in the way. That's probably what's going to happen. But I can pull this all the way up just as soon as I've got a gear, if that's necessary. Alright, well, it doesn't say it's in here, so I can only assume it is inbound. And it is! Alright, cool. Now we just have to put this one log in place. Also, yes, we're about to have a drought. Which means this isn't going to be doing anything, and it's also not built. But again, it's the first cycle. It doesn't matter. It's okay. At least I've got a couple of planks here before things go completely upside down. Remember, it's alright. Playing on normal mode. Nothing bad's going to happen. At least until that thing decides to explode. It's fine. Yeah, 3 days. It is, for what it's worth, it is going to give us a decent amount of carryover power because all of this water has to come up from where, well, it has to come down from where it starts, all the way up here. Is this a, how many sources? Just the 2? I should have checked what the power strength on those is. Well, regardless, there's, okay, it's actually already drying up. That's fine. Well, we've got a, well, this also isn't finished, and neither is this, because it doesn't have logs. Alright, well, I guess it's time to... Actually, I've got one here. There's 3 logs on the ground. Come and get your logs. Come over here. Get those done. What I can't justify is I can't justify having this many beavers not working other regular jobs. Pumps, yeah, we probably don't need the pumps right now because we have 200, so I'm going to pause these. Another thing that can be automated, by the way, with the use of a weather station, you can have the pumps only going during a temperate cycle, if you so choose, or any other cycle. Well, the game will call it weather. Or you can build a relay, or you can build a lever, and you can tie the lever to all of your pumps. You just hit the pump button, and all your pumps turn back on. That's also an option. 3-day drought. We're already, well, only 0.2 days into it. This water is going to run out probably within the next half a day. And then it could be half a day to almost a full day before we get any more. So, you know, just be mindful of that. We could have some crops that will dry out and die, but we only have 13 beavers, and we have 181 food. We're going to be totally fine. They eat about 2 food a day, a little bit more. Did they pick that up? Me too. There we go. So now... they have nothing to do because I didn't give them anything to do. Raise your hand if this has happened in one of these videos before. Let's just, for the sake of all of these beavers, mark those for cutting. They can get to more of this, but I don't want to thin the entire forest out. And there's enough young trees in here that we could leave this alone and it would be okay in a little bit of time. So that's done. I don't have the logs to really do this yet, so... there's not really much of a point in unpausing this. But before this drought is over, I do want to have this going so we don't have to worry about losing any of our potential here. And should we get any more beavers, which we will probably need to do soon, we'll be able to expand our population and then staff these all the time. Now, I have 210 science. We have a couple options here. We don't need to plant more trees yet, but... remember, oaks take 30 days to grow, so even though we don't need them right now, in 30 days we might be glad that we planted them if we went ahead and did it. So let's unlock our forester, 30 science. And this isn't really a great place for a forester, but it's not a bad one either. And when we start getting bad water coming in, any amount of elevation is going to be that much better versus being next to bad water. So, you know, there's a possibility. Planting some oak trees up here might survive our first bad tide, which again, it's normal mode. It's probably not going to be until at least cycle 5. So that is not going to be much of a concern. I do want to draw your attention to this bit over here, though, because guess what? Bad water's accumulating, whether you like it or not. There is an aquifer over here. So where is the... bad water coming from over in this area? It has to be. I probably should have looked a little bit closer around all of this. Okay, that is... nothing down here, really? So what... where is the, where's the bad water coming from? Because we have our aquifers here, but that's... I should have paid more attention. How many times have I said that? Oh, it must be back here. Okay, oh, the bad water seep. So, seeps, by the way, if you don't know, if this is one of your first videos watching Timberborn, the seep is like a water source, except it turns off once the level above it reaches 0.8 meters. So, because this is at the same level as this land here, and this just goes off a cliff, this will never turn off unless it's a drought. So, just keep that in mind. Need to make sure that we don't forget about any of that. So, okay, crops are drying out. Carrots, little baby men, are going to last 1.8 days because they can't handle anything. Potatoes are even worse. They last 1 day, but we got food. We don't have a crazy huge amount of beavers, so this is going to be more than enough for 3 days. Berries are pretty durable in comparison. They'll be okay. I've got 22 logs. Let's, before we forget, get that unpaused. Yeah, we should be fine to build a forester here. And it's probably not a permanent thing. I don't want to start growing trees right here because as soon as we get a bad tide, those are all dead. Some of them might stand a chance here, even though this is closer. So if I put this right here, and we get this preset for oaks. Yeah, we could plant pines, but oaks are, 30 days to get 8 logs. That's pretty good. We got trees here. We're going to be alright. Somehow it frequently becomes a topic of debate whether that is actually a decent strategy or not, but it's not ever failed me. Worst it's done was, make me sit there and wait for some trees to grow, but it's not actually caused me to lose any beavers. So these crops are 100% going to die if we don't pull them out of the ground. I guess that is what they're doing here with these. Potatoes are not fully grown. If they were, we'd be able to see it. So farmers are doing what they're going to do. And that's fine. This water wheel is just about finished. And then we'll have this all ready to go for the start of cycle 2 when we eventually get around to that. And of course we got water coming out here. That'll be fun. We can tap this reserve tank if we really want or need to as soon as I can put enough stairs to get over here. Then we also have these berries if we are desperate enough to have someone go through the thorns. Now we haven't needed it yet, but I want to build it before we do. We need to have a tooth grindstone so that the beavers that are cutting all the trees down can, maintain their teeth. That's an important thing. I know this is kind of out of the way, but this is already just a simple dead spot. I'm just going to stick that there. That's fine. And they'll have somewhere to go. Looks like the potatoes have all bitten the dust. These are all at 100%, but we're okay. It's also, nighttime. This is done. This will make a glorious 500, what was it, 527 or something? This can make plenty of, I almost said science. Been a very long day. plenty of HP, which in the beaver world does not mean horsepower. So I invite you, as many have done in the past series we've done, to give me your own interpretation of what HP means. Previous answers include, but are not limited to, Harry Potter's, Honda Preludes, Hewlett-Packard's, a couple other funny ones, but be creative. If I like one, I might use it in videos. We've got 0.8 days left in our drought cycle 1. These are all ready to go here, which means... Well, it actually doesn't mean anything. I can still have this if I need it, but I probably won't. Yeah, everything else is looking fine. This is ready to go. We could use some more beavers. And we have had some die from old age, so... not much of a better time than the present to use a little bit more of the science. This is another thing I was going to mention. Go ahead and unlock the double lodge. And get a second story entrance going on here. By the way, again, if you're not familiar with the game, you can put a double lodge and a triple lodge, they both do the same kind of thing, in water as long as the doorway is not flooded. Just like real beavers. They like to build their lodges partly in the water. And you can have a lot of fun with that. Iron Teeth, no, because they have the entrances on the first floor. But these guys, you can get away with it, and it ends up being some somewhat interesting buildings that you can construct, with the second floor entrances being one of those limiting factors. But I'm looking at my recorder in OBS. We're coming up on 45 minutes, which means this episode is just about done. First cycle, maybe a little bit more drawn out than it normally is. But I did want to take the time to show you guys this map. It's really cool looking, and I am excited to see what we can get ourselves into. I'm also, I'm thinking that once this gets full enough, we're going to have Badwater find some way of getting over this way, although it might not. Maybe I'm just thinking poorly here. I guess it probably would go off the edge of the map. Yeah, because that's the level of the top of the dam. Yeah, I guess I could just come back off here. We'll see what happens. Unless that explodes first. But we'll get that all figured out. So, we're coming up to the end of the episode. I want to take a moment to recognize the people that make this channel possible. The channel supporters, which here we call beard boosters, to keep with the theme, are folks who pay the, I forget what it's, I think it's $2.99 per month to get access to videos early, and they get their names at the end of the videos, and soon, hopefully, if I can get the mods to work, get their names on beavers in-game. And, of course, there's a ton of names on this list. The vast majority of them became supporters by way of somebody gifting them a channel membership during a live stream, which, oh boy, did that happen yesterday in our first stream with the Iron Teeth in 1.0 full release. But everybody who's on this list is on the list forever. I don't take people off, well, unless you want to get taken off for some reason, just let me know and I'll take your name off. But every person that's on this list is every person who's ever supported the channel, either directly or on behalf of someone else. And I'm so thankful to have a community where people are, genuinely interested in the way that I do videos, which is no sponsors, no nonsense, just, having fun playing the game, not cutting any mistakes out, and showing the authentic experience of doing everything. So I really appreciate those folks. I could not do it without their support. Genuinely could not. But now it's Cycle 2. And folks, that means it is time for us to say goodbye. And I believe the next episode of this series will probably be on Monday. I am unfortunately in a little bit of a pickle timing-wise because I have to go out of town for business this weekend. But, gasp, life outside YouTube. But I digress. Think about what you want to see in Episode 2 if you have any ideas for how to conquer some of the challenges of the map as displayed. Or if you've played the map before and you want to, give some advice. Don't spoil when stuff goes off. I want that to be a fun surprise. But I'm always going to be appreciative of all of your input, even if I don't use your advice in a video or I do something opposite of what you said. It doesn't mean that I don't appreciate you contributing stuff, but I do have to choose something out of all of the possible options. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm basically out of time. Have a great rest of your day. Whatever it is you're doing, stay safe, have fun, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon in Episode 2. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.